So, anything that people would commentate on the Torah in the future would is basically stemmed from the Torah, the oral tradition that Moshe received at Mount Sinai from God himself. So there's certain structure and certain rules of how to extrapolate from the written Torah to come up with your own ideas and your own commentaries and own explanations of the Torah. So everything that we have in the oral tradition and the written Torah was given by Moshe at Har Sinai. What the Mishnah is the first time the oral tradition was written down. It was by a Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, and we can look at a timeline. But basically, it was written down. It was never meant to be written down, but after the people were exiled and had to be spread out, um, they decided there was no other choice. Um, here, the Misora. Okay, this is like a very ancient one that people still hear. Let's see, share my screen. Ugh, there. Oh gosh, sorry. That's once in a while. Share. Okay, you see that? Okay, so basically these are like this is all the written Torah on top, and then the the Midrash is explanations on the Torah, and so is the Zohar. It's like commentary and explanations of the Torah. That's the Kabbalistic explanations. And then the Mishnah over here is basically all the laws of the Torah written down for the first time. All the oral tradition was written down for the first time because all the Jews were spread out and exiled, and there was like no center. There's no one center for Torah study as there used to be, and it was necessary to have everyone the oral tradition written down and spread out, so all the yeshivas and all the Torah centers and all the Jewish people all over the world could keep the same Torah and have the same mitzvot, and it'll actually look exactly the same wherever they are. And then the rest is basically explanation on the Mishnah. So this is all Jewish law written down with all its details and all its like scenarios. And then this is Braita and Tosefta, Talmud Bavli, Talmud Shalmi. This is all stuff based on the Mishnah. So the Mishnah was the first complete edition of all the mitzvot. And then the Talmud is discussion and it's questions and all that on the Mishnah. And then if you keep going down, you see this is like questions and answers and writings from all halachic, all about Jewish law, down to the Shulchan Aruch is the code of Jewish law that was written later. And yeah, basically so what we say is all of this was given to Moshe on Har Sinai, even though it came much later after Moshe's time. We say it still roots from Moshe from Sinai because first of all there's rules of how to extrapolate, and all the new additions and all the new explanations and all the new extrapolations were following those guidelines that Moshe received on Har Sinai to extrapolate from the written Torah. And at the same time also there's some sort of sense of like Moshe was a prophet and he like foresaw what everyone would come up with like in the future from the actual written Torah. So the Pirkei Avot is a last I think it's a section in the Mishnah which is interesting because it has nothing to do with law. It's all about going beyond the letter of the law, and it's about character. And so we don't have any laws in Pirkei Avot. It's all just like pieces, snippets of wisdom and advice to help a person be the best person for themselves and the best person for everyone around them. And so why do we study it now during this time frame is because the weeks between Passover and Shavuot are time of introspection and self-development, character development. Spirit HaOmer is when we count the days from Pesach to Shavuot, and each day also has like its own character trait that we're supposed to refine in ourselves to be able to receive the Torah with as the best people we can be and like be complete real vessels to receive the gift of the Torah. And the Pirkei Avot has a similar idea. So it's about character development mostly. And which screen do you see? Oh, I see. Okay. How can I see what you guys see? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Do you still see the chart?
Yes, we still see the diagram only.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna open up the text now. Now you can see it. Okay. So we start off say learning Pirkei Avot every time with this beautiful message. All Israel have a share in the world to come, as is stated, and your people are tzaddikim, righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. They are the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, in which I take pride. This is a beautiful message, and this is what we start studying Pirkei Avot with, as is customary. And this is actually one of the 12 verses that you were talking about, Margarita, that so this is one of them. And so the first Mishnah actually starts off with this tradition, which we call like a Misora in Hebrew, the tradition of Torah being passed down. So it says Moshe received the Torah from Sinai and gave it over to Joshua. Joshua gave it to the elders to the prophets gave it over to the men of the Great Assembly. And that's basically a really quick, cryptic tradition, a timeline. So Moshe to Joshua, Joshua to the elders to the prophets to the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. The men of the Great Assembly were basically the people who put together all the prayers that we have today, the Kiddush, the Havdalah, the prayer book, the Siddur, a lot of things that would help the Jewish people in time of diaspora, in time of exile, when they just to keep their connection basically to the Torah and the mitzvot in a way when it's not centralized in one location and it's not centralized in the Holy Temple, in the Beit HaMikdash. So this was something like, every person can build a shul and have their own prayers, and every person can make their home into a mini temple and everything like that. And they said three things. So be cautious in judgment, establish many pupils, and make a safety fence around the Torah. So they said a lot of things, but these three things are, I guess, things that they would say often. So being cautious in, oh, hi, Lenoy. Oh, Lenoy's coming on. There she is. Hi, Lenoy. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good to have you.
I'll turn on later. Thanks.
That's okay. So, so that's the first Mishnah. And I guess being cautious in judgment is kind of self-explanatory. The establish many pupils, these are messages for everyone. So, like whoever you are, you can always be a teacher. As the rabbi would often say, if you know Aleph, teach Aleph. So even if you know one letter of the alphabet, even if you know one little thing, you can always teach it to someone else. And that's it's empowering everyone to be a teacher. And make a safety fence around the Torah is also like they were saying wherever Jews would find themselves, it was probably not, at this point, it was not going to be centralized, not in Jerusalem, not in the Holy Temple. Wherever we are in diaspora, we should try to keep the Torah as much as we could and put a safety fence around the Torah, meaning like in every situation, do everything you can to keep the Torah. And okay, any questions on that one? Something that I love about this first Mishnah is that it's telling us the chain of the Torah and tradition, and also like we should know that we are part of this transmission of Torah, and we should list ourselves in this Mishnah as well, because every person is part of this. It's a beautiful thing about oral tradition that it's basically a partnership between us, the Jewish people, and Hashem. Like Hashem is gave us the written Torah and started us off with the oral tradition, and then we are the ones who are continuing the oral tradition by finding our own ideas in Torah. And like it says, every soul has their own portion in Torah that only they are able to reveal. We learned that in Tanya, and so every person should like feel ownership to the Torah because it literally belongs to you, and you can extrapolate and think about anything you can and want to basically expand the oral tradition. And so that's what the oral tradition is. And something cool, the written Torah is said to be like the male aspect, and the oral tradition is said to be the female aspect of the Torah. And if you know like a little bit about the Parsha, when Moses broke the tablets, it says like the first set of tablets was only the written tradition, the written Torah, like any, the stuff you'll find in a Torah scroll. And then when he broke the tablets and we got the second set of tablets, we were given the written Torah and the oral Torah. So we literally gained so much from this whole crazy story of Moshe just dropping the first set of luchot, this first set of tablets, and shattering them. This oral tradition was given to us only because of that. So it's a developing organism basically, and it's really we should find ourselves in the Torah and just try to see where what we relate to and share with people and share with friends and write down our ideas and just constantly like feel that sense of ownership so that we're part of this tradition. And it's only like if we don't continue teaching it and learning it, then we're putting an end to the chain. So we really should feel responsibility and also a privilege. It's really and okay, so that's basically the first Mishnah. The second Mishnah is Shimon HaTzadik Haya Mishirei Knesset Hagdola. We're gonna do like four Mishnahs if we have time. We'll see. Shimon the righteous was among the last surviving members of the Great Assembly, so he was after that time. Here it says it was a panel of 120 prophets, including Ezra, Nehemiah, Mordechai from the Purim story, etc. And he would say the world stands on three things: Torah, Avoda, and Gemilut Chasadim. Torah, the service of God, and deeds of kindness. So these three things, has anyone ever heard that before? The three pillars of the world? Let me see. Okay, so some commentary on this Mishnah is that it says the world was created for these three things, and it continues to exist in its most perfect form through these three things: through Torah, the service of God, which is often translated as prayer or prayer and mitzvot, and deeds of kindness are are like not all mitzvot are deeds of kindness necessarily. Like there's a lot of mitzvahs between you and God, but so kindness is a separate category. Um, and it says that the purpose for which the world was created for to become a home for Hashem, as we learn in Tanya, um, is achieved through these three pillars, through the Torah, the service of God, which could be prayer, and deeds of kindness. And so this Torah represents like transcending ourselves and reaching higher. Worship and prayer represents perfecting our relationship with God or growing our relationship with God. And deeds of kindness is how we achieve perfection and whatever, share the love in the world around us. So there's ourself, our relationship with Hashem, and the world. So these are the three pillars. And one idea says that basically if we don't have these three pillars, then the world can't really sustain itself. And that's what happened in the times of Noah. They went against these three pillars. They had adultery, idolatry, and murder. And those are adultery is the opposite of Torah. Idolatry is the opposite of like connection with God, and murder is the opposite of deeds of kindness. So that's why the world was destroyed and through the flood, because they completely like pulled the rug out of the earth's three pillars. Let me see. Any thoughts on this one? I'll ask you a question. Which of these three pillars do you feel most connected to? The Torah, prayer, learning Torah, prayer, or deeds of kindness?
I like the service of God and how you put it, like the relationship with God. And like in my studies with you, I learned that I can have that. I didn't know that before. In a lot of religions, like there's someone between you and God, like a priest has to be between you. Like, but we have a personal relationship with God, and that's really beautiful to me. And like it actually helps me do the other ones. So like then I feel like heightened self-worth, and then I want to, you know, bring the mitzvahs into the world and study and like be kind to others through like what I've learned.
That's beautiful. You reminded me of something that when the Rebbe became Rebbe, like the day he was inaugurated as Rebbe and he accepted the leadership, he gave a kind of mission statement, and he said there's three loves that are interdependent, and if you don't have one, you don't have any of them. You have to have all three at the same time, and they're the love of Torah, the love of the Jewish people, and the love of Hashem. Those three loves. And what you like how you said once you start with one, the others follow. That really reminds me of that. Like if you, I guess if some people could have one without the other, but the goal is to have all three. But the love of God, the love of Jewish people, and the love of Torah.
It feels true.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
For me, it's kind of, I was looking at it like the deeds of kindness, I think is one that, like, when you help someone, no matter what position they're in, it's always a very also like can be a very also humbling experience, or like getting to know their struggle or getting to know what's going, like, just um and there's just something in that. I feel that like sometimes even if I can't help, then and I have that inclination to want to help, like I send like a prayer to God, and where I think that's I guess that's kind of my relationship with it, and I think that's the one that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw something about deeds of kindness is also considered like words of kindness. So even it says that it says somewhere, I think in the Talmud, if you give a poor man a coin, you get 6 blessings. If you say kind words to someone, you get 11 blessings. Something like there's something more valuable in saying kind words to people than actually physical support. It also goes the other way around. Like you can't really exchange food for words, but like if someone's hungry, words are not going to help them. But
mm,
but there is something really valuable to saying kind words, and it's even in a way it's even more important, like special.
mhm.
Yeah, it feels like you're like fortifying them to help themselves.
Yeah, giving them more strength. So the next Mishnah I want to do is Mishnah 6. Okay, so this is Yoshua ben Prachia, Venite Harbeli. Yoshua ben Prachia, the son of Prachia, and Nitzai the Arbelite, received from them. And it basically like has the teachers and the students and the teachers and the students. It's cool. So Joshua, the son of Prachia, would say, assume for yourself a master, acquire for yourself a friend, and judge every man to the side of merit. And this is something also the Rebbe would quote a lot, Aselecha Rav, which means assume for yourself a master, which it means like a spiritual mentor. Um, and it's basically important to always check in and be in touch with someone who you can ask questions about your spiritual journey and your journey in Judaism and in Torah, so that you have someone objective, because subjectivity is not so great for growth. And having someone objective that you can ask questions to, and someone that you trust and someone that you look up to is really important in anyone's journey. And even though like Joshua, this teacher who said this was a really like important person and a very big scholar, like he also was saying like assume for yourself a master. It's no matter like what level you're on or no matter who you are, you always need someone who you can just look up to a little bit more to guide you. And acquire for yourself a friend is find someone who is on your level, who you can share and talk with and vent to, and express your thoughts and feelings and be validated by. And that's very important for just anyone's mental health. There's a the sorry, there's a line in the Gemara, I think, in the Talmud, or is it the Mishnah? I don't know. Um, Tonic, I don't know. But basically there's a line that says I'll find out after, but it says friendship or death. So like like friendship is like important to your actual living quality. And there's another line that says I learned much from my teachers, but more from my friends. So a friend can help, like sometimes even more than a teacher. And what else? And it says when two people study together and discuss their spiritual condition, there's two godly souls against one animal soul. Like the godly souls unite, and then there's just one animal soul. So like you are more spiritually fortified when you discuss with a friend.
Wow,
And
I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah,
I thought that was really profound what you just said. I think
yeah.
that's really beautiful.
That's from the one of the Chabad Rebbes said that the Alter Rebbe's son, the author of the Tanya's son. Um, and one more thing that is the third Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe's grandson, was started writing like insights of of the Torah when he was 8 years old, and his grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya, told him that the Mishnah that we just read, Knei lecha chaver in Hebrew, means acquire yourself a friend, but a kaneh or kaneh, I think it's a kaneh, can also mean a pen or something. So it's he was saying a pen should also be your friend. Like let your pen be your friend because writing helps you like remember and clarify your thoughts and feel better.
It's cool.
Yeah. And the third thing is judge everyone favorably. This is like a weird part of history, but I think the student of Yehoshua ben Prachia, the one who said this, was what we call, I mean, whatever, was basically Jesus, like before he became an idolater and like started spreading false Judaism ideas. And so he said, like, judge everyone favorably because he felt like he might have not judged him favorably, and that's what like led him off the beaten path. But basically, judging favorably is like a huge thing, obviously, in Judaism, and there's let's see. There's a crazy law, even in like in Jewish law, where if there's a court that is trying to see if someone's guilty or innocent, and there's like 23 judges in this court. So if the majority, if only one judge says that the person is innocent and all the ones say they're guilty, then the person will be considered innocent. If two people say that he's guilty and all the rest say he's innocent, he will basically he will be considered guilty, but not one. It has to be two. And if all the judges say that he's guilty and no one say he's innocent, then he's considered, it's up to the judges to this, I mean, like a even higher judge to decide if he's innocent, but he's basically, according to these 23 judges, he's considered innocent because if no one can find a redeeming factor in his story, then it's on the judges. It's the judges' problem that they couldn't find something and judge him favorably. So basically, like if all of them see him as guilty, then he's considered innocent because something's wrong with the judges.
Wow.
That's how important it is to find judge people favorably. So
That is hard to do this year.
yeah, totally.
What story is that from?
This is
One of the judges.
this is just basically a Jewish law about judges in the Minor Sanhedrin, and I'll send you the text in the group because it's hard to I'm not saying it so clearly, but I'll send it to you in the group. Where's my chat? Or oh, I can't send it in the chat. I'll send in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that's that one, and the basically the connection between these three statements, which I love, is how to relate to different types of people. The people who are superior to you, you should make yourself like a master, like find someone who's a little bit above you as a spiritual mentor, learn from them and follow their guidance. And person who is on par with you, acquire as a friend and learn with them and befriend them. And then the people who are inferior to you, or you see them as inferior, judge them favorably. So that's like the three different kinds of people. Now, Mishnah 14, we have 5 more minutes left, but this is a very famous one. If I'm not for myself, who is for me? And if I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? which is basically if first of all, only you can do your own. I mean, this is what I'm saying. There's so many commentaries, but only you can do your mission in this world. No one else can do what you can do. If I'm only for myself, what am I? Don't just focus on yourself, focus on others as well. And because you're not here only for yourself, obviously, you're here for others as well and a greater purpose. And if not now, when? I think this is most powerful just thinking about like every moment cannot be taken back. There's no such thing as reclaiming time. And so now is the most important time ever. Not yesterday, not in 1 minute, not in 10 minutes, not tomorrow, now. So now is the most powerful moment that we ever have at any point. And I think once someone asked the Rebbitzin, the Rebbe's wife, what her favorite like holiday was, and she was like, because they were like maybe Hanukkah, Pesach, whatever. And she said, now, like right now is my favorite time. Um, so she was like really lived in the present. There's one more Mishnah that I wanted to do, I think, or maybe not. Was it Mishnah 14?
At the Ohel, what side is the Rebbitzin on?
Right across from the Rebbe. There's the Rebbitzin and his wife, the Rebbe's wife, and then like further down the path there's his mother. But the wife is right across because she's right across from her father and her husband because that's both who are buried in there.
Oh, okay. She's not next to him?
No,
Oh, okay. It was just the Rebbe in that thing?
the Rebbe and his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. The last one is that I wanted to do is this one. I love this line. Say little and do a lot. That's great. Just like talk less, do more. Good advice. So yeah, any questions or comments or like you feel like you resonate with or you'd want to think about more or apply to your life, would love to hear.
I mean, these are helpful reminders. I've been like annoyed by people, and this is helpful for countering that. So just maintain my peace and kindness. So thanks.
Right. That is true. Anything else, Ladora, Illinois, you want to share?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It definitely helps you find peace, internal peace in situations.
Thanks, Illinois. Okay, so we will continue next week. Yeah,
Sorry, I have a background noise.
no problem. We have 1 minute, I think, until it will shut off. But
Yeah,
share.
I'm kind of in agreement with Margarita in terms of like being like having this group. I didn't even notice how much I've missed it in terms of like meeting
Yeah.
and reviewing laws, and the ones that you brought up I think were just like I don't know. I don't know why it's so emotionally driven for me, like the feeling that it like evokes for me, but I'm just trying to like stay positive
Mhm.
and lead with kindness.
Yeah, it's tough and it's hard to remember, and yeah, it's good to study these things to guide us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and I'll see you, God willing, next week, and we'll be in touch on the chat, and we'll continue this kind of study for the next like 5 weeks, hopefully.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
Can
yeah,
you send us the link if it shuts down? Can you put it in like the Tanya group?
yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Have a good rest of your week.
Bye.
You too. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.